You're listening to Popcorn Unscripted.
The podcast where we dive into movies and TV shows with no scripts, no filters, just real talk and plenty of popcorn.
I'm Bailey.
And I'm Dylan.
We're here to talk about everything we love
And love to hate.
in pop culture. So grab your popcorn,
Sit back.
and let's get this show started. Alright, welcome to episode 33 to my lovely audience. I am with a guest today, Gabrielle. How do you sound your last name, actually?
Crichlow. So it's like an
Crichlow.
itch, but with a cr. So Crichlow.
Okay. So I'm joined by Gabrielle Crichlow today. Would you like to explain to my audience who you are and what you do?
Yeah. So I am an entrepreneur. I have a tutoring company called A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. So right now I'm the only tutor at the moment, but I go out to people's homes in my area, which is New York City,
Okay.
and Nassau County, Long Island, and I do one-on-one tutoring, test prep, college counseling, editing and proofreading, collaborative editing and proofreading, as I like to call it. So I do those services in person, and I do it online as well for anyone in the United States.
Oh, that's awesome. I wish I could have used you in school. I could have used it. So today's movie of choice is The Accountant 2, or really one. I guess we're going to talk about both 1 and 2 some today. But our main focus is Accountant 2. And so I just want to ask you, why did you pick this movie specifically?
I like the portrayal of autism. Um, so I guess kind of a quick view, but basically, it's like you could tell someone is autistic and like the way that they speak, the lack of eye contact, they can't really. It's difficult to pick up social cues. Um, and they're very like savant. They're very smart, but
Right.
there's a certain way you have to teach them. So, um, so I like the portrayal of autism in the movie. Um, I like the way, particularly for number two. I like the way that they display like the family struggles
Yeah.
in coping with a relative with autism. Like with the brother. No, Christian's the main character, and then the brother, I forgot his name, but like how
Brandon. No? Braxton.
Braxton, that's what
That's
it
it.
was. Yeah, like I like the struggle, and like the brother was like, I haven't seen you in 8 years. Like,
Right.
do you miss me? And the Christian was like, I'm just me, right?
Right.
So just that feeling of like, I want you to miss me, but that's a human connection, and you have autism, and it's difficult to make human connections.
is.
You may not understand what it means.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the struggle of trying to connect with a family member who who struggles with making connections
Right.
as a neurological thing, and I like the depiction of that as well. So I liked it.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I was actually very very impressed by how they did that throughout both movies, actually. I'm not the biggest Ben Affleck fan, but he did really well with this character, and I couldn't have asked for a better performance, in all honesty.
Yeah.
So did you have any expectations going into this movie when you watched it for the first time?
Yeah, because I saw the first one.
Right.
So I mean, I like Ben Affleck, so that's what what that drew me to the first movie.
Right.
Um, but like I was impressed by the first movie, and like they actually broke down what autism is,
Mm-hmm.
and like they show like him when he's like his need, oh, that his need to finish something, right?
Yes.
Which is another
Yeah.
um depiction of autism, the need to complete something, right? So
Mhm.
um so I like how they showed it in the first and I guess that was my I would say that was my first exposure to autism, I would say, frankly, and that, oh, okay. Like that's interesting. Like the way like when he couldn't complete something and he gets upset,
Mhm.
um, in the first movie, like he's rubbing his leg with a bat. And in my mind that came I thought about it as masturbation,
Mhm.
when he was doing that.
Mhm.
Um, and then I think he was like smashing things in the first movie.
Yes.
Um, yeah. So like I saw that I was like, oh, I like how they that's autism? Okay. That's
Mhm.
interesting how they depict that.
Yeah.
And then and that brought me back to the second movie. Like when I saw that it was coming out, I was like, oh, I would love to see it again, right? Because
Right.
I remember the first movie and how I felt about it, and I
Mhm.
want to go see the second one. So, so the second one was a little bit more like action focused, but um, and I think the first one was more like how did Christian come to be and establishing the character
Mhm.
and even that like he was raised by a single father because the mother again back to the family dynamics of
Yeah.
the mother like the tantrums, right?
Right.
Which is another depiction of autism. So the tantrums and the repetitive phrases and like the mother couldn't handle it and so
Right.
she left and the father was left alone to raise um someone that's this neurodiverse
Mhm.
boy who was the older one, and then the younger one was the what we call neurotypical, right?
Right.
Um, and then like the younger brother, he was defending his older brother like
Mhm.
throughout his life, right? And then with the father, I mean the father was a military man, so he had that
Mhm.
strict
Yep.
mentality and he had like a sensei come in and teach his boys
Mhm.
how to fight, and he I think he pushed Christian even harder, right? Um, so yeah, I think just seeing how to and then he ended up becoming an accountant
Right.
because he was
Right.
a math savant,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Which tends to be people with autistic people, they a lot of them end up as savants, right? Are really good at math, right?
Right.
And so there's a whole thing that comes into it. But basically, I liked the way they showed that in the first movie, and that brought me to the second movie. So when I saw that they were doing a sequel, I was like, oh, okay, like
Mhm.
I was looking forward to it. So
Oh, that's awesome. Was there any immediate standout moments, or were there any disappointments?
in the second movie,
Mhm.
hmm, I think about this one. Um,
I will say, I think the second one had a little more humor than the first one did, and I kind of liked that.
I thought so too. I mean, the miss me part, right? So
Right.
they're on top of a trailer
Mhm.
and so Braxton is visibly angry,
Right.
right? And that's another thing, and Christian is not picking that up.
Right.
Like he's like, I see that you're angry, but I don't understand why, right?
Yeah.
And Braxton is angry and he's like he's gonna get a dog, and Christian was like, you're a cat person.
Mm,
and
yeah.
um and Braxton was like, well, at least the cat will miss me. And Christian was like, I doubt it, right? And then he was
Uh-huh.
like, and that when Braxton was like, hey, I don't see you, I haven't okay, just kind of all right, so from the first to the second movie, basically was implied that Braxton hasn't seen Christian in a long period of time, and then
Mhm.
he found him when they were both kind of doing not the
Almost the
same,
same work.
yeah, the same work. They were on opposite ends of like a criminal enterprise, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then in the second movie, it's implied that um after they met up in the first movie, they
Yeah.
disappeared again for another 8 years, right?
Yeah.
So back to the trailer scene. So Braxton's like, I finally found you. I haven't, you disappeared
Mhm.
again, right? Do you miss me? Right? And Christian was like, I'm just me. So like I just felt the frustration
Mhm.
in that stood out to me because I felt the frustration in that moment. I was just
Yeah.
you're you're crying out to your brother and you're trying to get this emotional connection and the brother's
Right.
like, I don't,
I
it's
don't know.
something's not connecting somewhere, right?
Like that nothing's computing for me, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not computing. I just felt like Braxton screaming inside like, ah. But for and he and I guess in to reconcile with the anger, he turned to humor and was like, like he threw the sunscreen and
Mhm.
he's like, let's go get drunk, right?
Right.
So
Let's just go.
yeah, like I can't, like, so I think that stood out to me because the fact that I'm trying to, you disappeared on me not once but twice. This is the second time you disappear. I'm angry. You don't talk to me, you don't call me, or you barely call me, I should say. I don't see you, and here you are asking me for help out of the blue,
Mhm.
and you know I'm trying to establish some kind of emotional connection, and
Right.
I'm not getting that back.
Right.
And the fact that he said, like, do you miss me because, is it me or is it because of your condition, right?
Right.
So I think it's that disconnects.
Mhm.
So I think that stood out to me the most in that scene.
Mhm.
And even little things like with the FBI agent, so they were at the motel,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and they're waiting for the brother to pull up, and she was like, my back hurts, I think I keep getting the wrong chair.
Mhm.
And then she was like, you know what, I don't think it's a chair. I think I'm just thinking about what you said about how you put me in this position and
Mhm.
me not living up to that standard.
Right.
And Christian was like, go to Costco to get a
Go to
better
Costco.
chair, right?
Just
Like,
go.
yeah, like he didn't pick up that, okay, she's trying to say, I feel overwhelmed. I'm not meeting up to the standards
Right.
that I'm here. And he's like, you have a lumbar issue, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, never mind.
Mhm.
Um, and then there was something else where she's like, it's like she's teaching in that scene, she was teaching him how to make that human connection where she's like, when your brother comes, just say thank you for coming,
Mhm.
right? Like the fact that she had to explain to him, so when someone does something nice for you, you say thank you, right? So it's like
Mhm.
it's that social training.
Right.
And that's what, when the brother came and Christian was like, thank you for coming, I appreciate it.
Right.
And Braxton was like, she told you to say that. So but I think that those are smaller scenes, but that stood out to me, I
Yeah.
think, as well. um Disappointments. um hmm
I was kind of sad that J.K. Simmons got killed at the beginning. Cause I was like, I sat there watching it. And he was the first character to pop up on the screen. I was like, he's gonna die, and he's gonna just die, and then he did. And I was like, I knew it.
Why? You like him? You're like, I was
I
just
do
gonna.
like J.K. Simmons. He's amazing. Which I also loved his character in the first movie too. And I loved the connection that he technically had to Christian, but he didn't know he had that connection until after he figured that out. all of that out at the end of the first movie. So yeah, there's that. So I was kind of disappointed, but at the same time, it was still a good movie at the end of the day.
Yeah, I thought so too. I liked it. I saw it um an unhealthy number of times. So I did enjoy it. I also like that they brought back Justine, the assistant,
Mhm.
the woman behind him, and
Mhm.
even showing that, right? I don't
Right.
know what that was, but she was mute, right? And so she was
Yeah.
using
The computer.
using the computer to talk and stuff like that. So,
I did
um,
notice that they had recast her from the first movie because it was a different woman in the first movie.
oh, was it? Oh,
Mhm.
I didn't even notice. Sorry, I was like, oh, was it the same lady? But it
Yeah.
was. I didn't even. Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know. But I guess that too. Like, I did notice, like, it got more technological in the second movie, because in the first movie it was like this big house, and there was the mom and the dad, and there was like
Uh
a
huh.
cabin, and but
Yeah.
in the second movie there's like more, like, I did notice that, like, the parents are gone. I guess it wasn't clear to me whether she runs the school now, or
Mhm.
she's a teacher. So I
Yeah.
guess that wasn't quite clear to me what her role was.
Yeah.
um
But you also have to think this was also over an 8-year period of time too. So he would
right.
have had time to develop all of that if he had a hand in it, which I'm sure he did.
Right, because he was donating and giving money, and yeah, the dating scene was interesting. It was interesting, and
Oh
it was
yeah.
sad at the same time.
Mhm.
Because again, he establishing that human connection, but he was over analyzing,
Mhm.
um and
Ended
then
up drawing him away.
drawing him away. Yeah, so
Mhm.
that need, like, in the first movie, he was able to bond with Anna Kendrick, but I think he had to leave. I think,
Mhm.
or well, he was technically a criminal, right?
Yeah,
Um,
technically.
so I guess he couldn't really stick around, but this time it was again seeking that human connection.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so I can't really think of disappointments. Um, hmm. I mean, I guess I would have liked to see, like, in the ending where they grab the boy, like,
Mhm.
or they get the boy, and, like, I guess I would have liked to see him actually be dropped off at the center.
Yeah. And see
Um,
what their reactions would be and stuff.
yeah, kind of like a feel good, like, oh, like, I would have liked to
Yeah.
see him actually get there. But
I did enjoy the ending regardless of that though.
yeah,
It
and
was I think it was a very satisfying ending.
I think so too, because then the moment where the brother just blows up, right? Because the FBI director, she got attacked, and Christian, like, got back after, was like, well, because he saw, like, the his brother got a hit
Uh-huh.
to go get the FBI director, but of course he
Mhm.
didn't go. Um, so Christian saw that, it was like, oh, I gotta go get her, and then circle back to when he got back. He's like, yo, it's like she just got, like, beat up, and he just kind of lost it. But I
Mhm.
think that moment too was another one where Braxton actually explains, like, I have to fight for you. I have to, I have, and then you see, like, the older younger brother
Mhm.
dynamic, in that it's the younger brother protecting the older brother, right?
When usually it's supposed to be the other way
The other
around.
way around, yeah. And so it's sort of like he had to be the big brother, right?
Mhm.
And it's Braxton actually explains, you I'm trying to connect with you. You don't listen, like, you don't I stick up for you, and you don't even say thank you,
Mhm.
right? Like, he just blew up and was just like, he actually explained it to him, like, I'm angry because you don't appreciate what I do for you.
Mhm.
Um and then you see where they where they're about to like take down like the people of Juarez, and there was that moment where Christian was like, Braxton, thank you, right?
Mhm.
Um, so it was sort of like that closure that
Mhm.
Braxton needed. Like, just I would appreciate a thank you. I'd appreciate some appreciation, So I like the whole family dynamic back and forth.
Yeah, I
Um,
do think that was a really amazing on both actors' parts. They played that really well. I enjoyed it a lot.
I it was an enjoy. I really liked the movie. I think it was more action this time. um,
Yes,
more
definitely more action this
more
time.
action, less plot.
Mhm.
But I think that's a general direction that movies are going. More action, less plot. But but I did, and that's the funny thing with sequels. Like you have to see the first movie to really understand the second
Uh-huh.
movie. But but when you see the two together, it's like, oh, okay.
You're right. Which my friend had went and watched it with his family, and he had never watched the first one. And that's kind of like a pet peeve of mine, I guess. It's like, why would you watch the second one when you haven't watched the first one? You're missing so much context. And so I'm just like, you're just a goober for doing that. But anyway, I digress. Um, what was the scene that hooked you at the beginning of the movie?
That hooked me at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Like, what got you like really invested into watching the whole rest of the movie?
hmm. I mean, I guess besides because I'm loyal to the
Yeah,
brand. I guess I guess I didn't like. Now that I think about it, I didn't like that J.K. Simmons died so early in the movie. But I guess what kept me
yeah,
going was I think it was like I was waiting for Christian, So it's just
yeah,
like it was just like, what are they gonna do, right?
yeah.
Um, and and then Christian came in. So I think I don't know how to answer that really, because to me, I'm just like I'll just watch it through and through
Right,
anyway. Like
right.
a movie has to be like really dumb in order for me
Yeah,
to walk out in the middle of it. Like I rarely do that. Like
right.
I will just see it through.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think I don't really have an answer to that
Okay.
but I think because I saw the first movie that I was like I'm
Right,
waiting to see how the second movie plays out. So
right.
there's that loyalty factor. There's I love Ben Affleck movies. There's that
Mm-hmm.
factor. So um but I think it was mainly I saw the first one. I really want to see the second one, and I will watch this movie in its entirety,
Mm-hmm.
however, come hella high water.
Okay,
So
that's
yeah,
fair.
I don't really have an answer to that because it was more of like a loyalty thing. Like I want to see it because I saw the
Right,
first one.
right. I would say for me, it was probably like the speed dating part is what kind of hooked me. Um, or well, no, I take that back. I think it's when she discovered the writing on J.K. Simmons' arm when he had after he had gotten killed, and it said "find the accountant" on his arm because he had wrote it there. I was like, oh, okay, so that's how they're setting up for the rest of this and how all the rest of this is going to play out. So I think
Oh
that's
yeah,
probably what hooked me for
yeah,
sure.
that's a good point. That set up the rest of the movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like because you see him writing on his arm,
Mm-hmm.
um, and that's like, oh, you just set up the rest of the movie. But I do see that. That's a
Mm-hmm.
fair that's a fair point. I think the just and even just kind of thinking about the first movie and that the Christian just kind of shaped J.K. Simmons' career, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they were taking tips, and so then it's sort of like he was making a deal with the devil in a way because he was
Mm-hmm.
technically a criminal. Christian was a criminal who
Right.
escaped from prison, who somehow never went back to
Mhm.
prison. So they're just like, okay. Uh,
Yeah.
but um, but I think the fact that it was like a you see like the cops that turn to the dark side type thing.
Yeah.
You see that play out in the beginning of the second movie. Like, oh, okay, like
Mhm.
he actually has a partnership with this guy.
Yeah.
With the accountant. So, but that is a fair point.
Yeah. So, were there any twists in this movie that surprised you? To,
I
for
don't know
me,
about. It's,
for me personally, I think I enjoyed the twist finding out that the girl that had lost her memory was actually the girl that he had been looking for the entire time.
yeah, that was a good one. That
I
was a
thought
good.
that was interesting, which I kind of had a, which I didn't really know what to make of her at first, but then once they got to that part and they started showing like all of the hospital clips and stuff, and then it finally explained like who she was, and I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. I was like, that's a weird way to make a woman lose her memory, but all right then.
Yeah, and now that you say that, the way that it's sort of like a frame story in a way, because
Mhm.
in the beginning it was King, J.K. Simmons' character,
Mhm.
who was like, "Have you heard of acquired savant syndrome?" Right.
Mhm.
So as like the foreshadowing in a way,
Yeah.
and then they brought it back up like, oh, the acquired savant syndrome was the lady killer, right?
Mhm.
So I like that circle moment that they did.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I don't think anything was a twist for me. Maybe something that was more of a surprise was more like the bar fight scene. Um,
Yeah. That was
where
actually pretty funny.
they're in the car, they're driving away, and Braxton was like, how awesome it is to fight somebody, and then Christian was like, I got the woman's phone number, and he showed his hand.
Mhm.
And he was like, "Yo, get out of here! Look at you!" Like there was a moment, like a moment of pride, and
Like a
even
yeah. Yeah.
yeah, like that. It turned around. Like Christian got a woman's phone number, right? So he was able to make that human connection that
Right.
he was seeking for so
Like
long.
he was able to show that it's not impossible for him to make a connection. It just takes him some time and a minute to make that connection with somebody.
Right, right, and just putting himself, I guess, not over analyzing it
Mhm.
more. I mean, he's still like with the dance, like he was, I guess, mathematically kind of figuring out
Yeah,
the
that's how I
dance
took it.
steps.
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
he was watching the people's feet and he was like it was like he was watching them and memorizing what they were doing so that he can then copy what they were doing.
right. I saw that. I mean, that I picked up as well.
Mhm.
But I think just he he made that conversation with her, and and him getting into the fight with the guy who has a crush on her, right? But the fact,
Right.
like, and she got his phone number, so I think it was a moment, a sense of pride, like, oh my god, a woman actually gave him his number. Like he actually made a connection with somebody, So which is what he wanted all this time.
Mhm.
So and that's the thing with autism too, is that they want that connection, they just don't know how, right? And so
Right.
you have to teach those social cues, which is really really interesting when you think about it. Like it's so
Mhm.
natural to the neurotypical people, but when you have the neurodivergent who don't really it's like you have to teach. You're supposed to say thank you when someone does something nice,
Mhm.
um like even in that same bar scene where the brother was like, when she came up to Christian and Braxton was like, she was interested in you, right? Like
Mhm.
she was interested in you. That's why she came here, right? I'm surprised that she
Right.
came, but she came because she was interested in you. Like don't give out random songs. Like pick something that fits the theme, So
Yeah.
it was that social teaching, right?
Mhm.
But I think that was a sense of pride, and when he got the woman's phone number, and Like he was even smiling, like
Yeah.
even the weird smile, you
Mhm.
know. Um, and then the brother being proud of him, like you got it, like oh my god. So I think that I don't know if that quite answers your question about a twist, but I think it's more it was a surprise for me, like oh my god, he actually got that
Yeah.
connection he was looking for.
Yeah. I like that was such a good it was a good brother moment. Good brother bonding moment, which I think is what Christian kind of wanted from that too. When he actually like got up and tried to actually get that connection with the woman, he was wanting to give his brother a good time as well.
Yes, especially when he started the fight with the guy.
Mhm.
And he was saying, "Oh, great, my brother will enjoy this, right?" Because he knows
Mhm.
his brother likes to fight, and so he was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I'm gonna start a fight with this guy, and my brother will enjoy it." So it's like
Mhm.
he wanted the woman's attention, but he also wanted the attention from his brother. So it's
Right.
like the desire for the connection is there,
Right.
and he keeps trying to learn how to make that connection.
Mhm. So, getting to the ending part of the movie, do you think that the way it ended was satisfying? Do you think it was a satisfying payoff?
Um,
For me, it was.
yeah.
I genuinely think it was a very satisfying payoff because he finally got the connection with his brother that his brother wanted, and then they finally go off together to the Chattahoochee River to live out the rest of their days, I guess. Lord knows.
Yeah, yeah. Right? And it gave that implication, right?
Mhm.
There was that, hey, do you want to go camping together? And
Mhm.
like and it even just with the cat, right? Like
Right.
so Braxton wanted a dog and Christian was like, you're a cat person. And then in the end he ended up getting a cat,
Mhm.
right?
Just a
So
stray cat off the road.
right, he was like, oh, okay, I got a cat, right?
Mhm.
So that shows there was a shift in the atmosphere, right? And
Mhm.
there was a shift in Braxton's way of thinking um and even with Christian and that he's like, let's go camping together, right? And
Right.
that shift and now I understand you, and let's spend more time together, right? I guess kind of going back to the twist question. Another thing that surprised me, like the boy that they were looking for, he apparently has autism. so,
Yeah.
and so I think that maybe that was kind of a twist. I thought it was just like a regular, well, I won't say regular. He was like a neurotypical,
Right.
quote unquote normal, but I think he just somehow, I guess it didn't really show like, oh, he just somehow knew like, oh,
Mhm.
he's just like me, right?
Mhm.
So I guess that part was a little like, oh, he just kind of knew it, right?
Mhm.
Um, so maybe that part I would have liked
More information on, yeah.
more.
I
Yeah,
agree.
that would be yeah, that maybe that is more of a disappointment.
How he figured out that he was also had the autism as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. Like, how did you just figure that out, right? So
Right.
I would have liked more information there. Um, but yeah, but I did like the way it ended. Like I said, I wanted the feel good moment, right?
Mhm.
Of the boy actually getting to the school, but I did like that you saw the change in the family dynamic and the you saw the emotional shift. So that I did. So I liked the ending. It could have been better, but I did like it.
Mhm. All right. So, how do you think Ben Affleck to well, how do I word this? How would you compare his performance in the first movie and the second movie? How would you compare those?
I mean, both phenomenal. I think like I would imagine he had to do a lot of research, right? If for the
Right.
first movie.
Right.
Um And it gets me wondering, like, I wonder, like, I'm assuming it's based off of a real person, so I'm just wondering, like, how the idea came about. But,
Mhm.
um, I mean, I think in the first movie it was more like focused on Ben's character.
Mhm.
But then in the second movie, it was more attention was on the other characters.
Mhm.
Um, I think it's about the same. I did see the same amount of effort, I think, for both movies. I
Mhm.
just think like the type of movie, like the first one was more plot focused, so there was more talking and
Right.
more setting up. Actually, they actually explained autism and what it is,
Mhm.
right? So there was um more explanation.
Right.
And the second one was more like fighting and killing and things like that. So I think it was less talking on Ben Affleck's part.
Mhm.
Because I feel like it wasn't so singular in terms of focusing on a like it wasn't so it didn't focus on a single character.
Right.
It focused on multiple characters. So I think in terms of performance, I felt like he didn't have to do as much
Yeah,
because
I can see that.
yeah, because the movie was looking at multiple characters. Um, and then again, it was less focused on the plot, right?
Mhm.
And more action, more guns and bang bang, right?
Mhm.
Um, and but the first movie was more like let's set it up, and there's more talking, and it was kind of focused on him more, and yeah.
Right.
So I think he didn't. It wasn't much of a performance. Like I think, okay, basically, it's. I think he did an excellent job. The same amount of effort put into it, but in terms of the second movie, I think was more. It wasn't so singular
Right.
on one character. I think he didn't have to do as much.
Right. Which, but now that I'm thinking about it, the first movie was more so about like his family and his upbringing and how people treated him with the autism that he has, and it also explains what autism is and what it looks like to have autism. And then the second movie is like how autism affects relationships and connections. And I think that's why the second movie wasn't so singular on him, because it was showing how he connects with other people and how he responds to other people.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it was more about him seeking connections, right?
Right.
Um, it was more about him seeking that connection. It was more about others trying to connect to him. So it was more focused on relationships with other people.
Mhm.
But then the first movie was more like the background, right? And
Right.
the background into how he became this super criminal into guns, how
Mhm.
he became this assassin, um, and how he also assassin, not assassin. Um, the word's not coming to me. Mercenary, I think.
Yeah. More
Yeah,
he's more so a mercenary, yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So mercenary slash accountant.
Mhm.
um, so I think that was more establishing like the backstory of that. And the second one was more like, now that you know the backstory, right? Let's focus more on the relationships and him trying to connect. So
Right. Right.
I think it's basically it's two. I just kind of going back to your question. I thought it was the same performance, which I thought he did really well.
Mhm.
Just different types of movies, you know. So like
Yes.
one is more factual and let's establish the character and actually again explaining what autism is, and then the second one was more, you know, let's focus more on the relationships and the brother and the FBI agent and
Mhm.
King and the lady killer
Right.
and her son, right? So let's focus more on the other. other people. So
Right.
same performance, different type of movie.
Right. So speaking of those other characters, were there any other standout performances that kind of like were any other performances that stood out to you?
Hmm. I think about that. I mean, those are the main ones.
Which I think John Berthal did an amazing job as his brother once again. Of course he did in the first movie. But of course I know John from The Punisher. So
Yeah, it's funny. I never really heard of him. I was like, I saw The Punisher. I don't know if that was him or somebody
which he
else.
was also in the first season of The Walking Dead.
Oh, see, I never watched that. So like, I didn't really
I didn't
know.
either.
I didn't really know who he was. Like he happened to be a guest on some other show that I was
Yeah,
watching,
yeah.
and I was like, oh, okay. I thought, oh, a new guy on the scene, but as it turns out, no, he's been here for a while. So I
Yeah.
was just like, I've just been living under a rock. So I was okay. But in terms of anyone else that stood out to me, I can't really think of it. I guess um I guess Justine, is that the lady, the assistant? Um,
I think so. I think that's her name. I'm terrible with names.
yeah,
I'm terrible with
but
names.
she had more of an active role, I
She
think.
did. She did.
Yeah, and I guess because oh, like when you look at the closing credits, you see it's like the character, it's the voice.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else is doing the voice, and someone else is the actor. So
Yeah.
I thought that was
The
interesting.
physical actor. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but I think her character had more of a pro an act she was more proactive in the movie.
She was. I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah. So I think that, I mean, that plays into the relationships, but the fact that she had more of a role
Mm-hmm.
um in it. Um I guess also, oh, it doesn't really quite answer your question, but I would there was more because I thought it was funny that they're both criminals.
Yeah.
The brothers were both
The
criminals.
yeah.
So it also, I don't know if it's a symptom of the time that we're living in now, but this sort of s- sensationalization
Mm-hmm.
of criminality,
Mm-hmm.
in that we want to be the criminal and we want to root for the criminal, um as opposed to like demonizing it, and it's like
Right.
humanizing the criminal, and it's like, it's still, I was like, I guess it still breaks my brain where it's like he's an escaped convict and no one has caught him yet. But
Yeah.
um
Like, and
um
they've literally had the opportunities to, and they just haven't took it.
they just kind of like, okay, we're
It's
gonna
like,
work with you, like, okay. And again, and it's the FBI like working with the criminals to achieve a goal, right? And so there's this sensationalization of the criminal world and the justice system. So
right.
it's sort of like this pity towards the criminal,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it might be a reflection of the times that we're in now. Like, there's all
Yeah.
these
I
like
can agree.
jail TV shows and prison
Mm-hmm.
movies, and we escape from prison, like, and it's like this sort of like desensitization of
It is. Mm-hmm.
criminals are bad, and now it's like criminals are awesome, right?
Right.
Um, so that was, kind of, you got me thinking about that. I was like, oh, I was like, these two are criminals, like, but we're rooting for them, you
Right.
know. So it's kind of interesting how, um, like TV and movies have the way, criminals and the criminal justice
Mm-hmm.
system and how it's being depicted in prison and jails. Like, now we're seeing them as the good guy,
Right.
as opposed to the bad guy. Um, I think no one else surprised me. I think. I guess, like I said, just the assistant
Mm-hmm.
running, but she had more of a role.
Yeah. I
But
agree with that.
yeah, I can't think of really anyone else.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, how do you think the film handled mental health and neurodiversity?
I don't know so much. I mean, I don't know. It didn't really show so much about mental health. Well, I guess in the terms of actually, yeah, maybe in the perspective of Braxton,
Hmm.
and that he was angry for so many years, and
But he was even angry prior to this next 8 years that he went without him, too.
right,
Because he was angry at his mother for leaving them.
right, and so there's that trauma there, right,
Mm
and then the mother leaving, which plays into the second movie. Like she's like, I don't, we're not. What do we know about parent being a parent, right? So, and even I guess I do kind of like with Braxton was so back to the trailer scene, right, where
hmm. Mm hmm.
Christian was like, "Are you happy?" and Braxton was like, "Yeah, I'm happy. I have gone well travel. I go to the nice hotels. I have all the money,
Mm hmm.
right? But I don't have anyone to answer to.
Mm hmm.
Like I don't have a woman. I don't have children, right? So I think there's I mean, it could be, but he still wanted that connection with his brother. Like
Right.
he wanted him to like, I want you to miss me, right?
Mm
But
hmm.
but you don't. And it's not like you don't because it's not because you hate me, it's because you don't know how to miss me, you know?
Right.
Um so in terms of mental health, I do see that portrayed with Braxton, and that there was the mother leaving him and being raised alone with a single dad, and who happened to be in the military. So, he was teaching him how to teaching both of them how to fight and use weapons, and then somehow they both ended up in the criminal world.
Mm hmm.
And then just filling that hole of like going back to the animal, right?
Mm hmm.
He wanted a puppy.
Mm hmm.
He wanted something to love him, right?
Mm hmm.
Um, so which kind of plays into why a lot of people want animals,
Mm
is
hmm.
like they want this thing that'll constantly love them, right?
Mm hmm.
So I see the mental health aspect with Braxton, and that there's the trauma of the mom leaving, and then you having to constantly stand up for your brother, and who happens to have autism. And so there's that lack of emotional connection there, and raised by a single father who's in the military. And so imagine having that kind of strict type of life,
Mm hmm.
and having to fight all the time, and then you want this connection with your brother, but the brother's not connecting back, and then the
Right.
brother disappears for a certain amount of years. And um oh, and the father died
Mm hmm.
in the first movie.
Yeah, I was about to mention that because Braxton had blamed Christian for getting their dad killed because they had went to the funeral of his mother.
Right. And he was like, "Why didn't you tell me about that?" And right, and him trying to fight the new husband.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of like, so I see it with Braxton with the mental health. 'Cause there's a lot kind of leading up to his anger, um, and then just to see his brother again, who calls out the blue asking for help, and it's still, I'm he's trying to get his brother to miss him,
Right.
to care, and he's like he's not he's not showing him like the human cues of caring.
Right.
Um, so that can be so I can see like the anger kind of boiling in him in there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think that in terms of mental health, but you really have to pick at it. So it wasn't like outward in the open,
Mm-hmm.
but like you really have to detect, like you really have to pull it, in that he's angry about his brother disappearing and disappearing for the second time,
Mhm.
right? And he's trying to get that connection and he's not getting it, and but somehow he has this family loyalty to him which was ingrained in him from his father because he's like
Right.
family sticks together, right? And so he's like, but I'm loyal to you, so I'm riding with you,
Mhm.
but you're not giving me that emotional connection that I need. So
Right.
so that I like that one showed mental health. It like you have to find it. It's
Mhm.
not
It's
as
not like
obvious.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not obvious.
Mhm.
So you really
But there
have to
are subtle
subtle.
hints of it. Mhm.
Yeah. So once you can pick that up, then it's a good depiction of it. So
Mhm.
as it wasn't as obvious. Um and the other one, neurodiversity.
Mhm.
Not much in the second one.
Not
Um
much, but I
yeah.
do like how the assistant was had like a group of kids behind her like helping her and assisting her that had these same issues, and you could see that kids had their different what do you call it, their different jobs, I guess you could say, and they all had a job and they all performed it very well.
Yeah, they all had, well, seemingly they
Mhm.
all had autism. And again, the showing of the is it just the lady assistant? um
Yeah.
the showing of her character more, I
Uh-huh.
think, in terms of neurodiversity, in that, there are people that are mute and then they have the computer to talk for them, like, was it Stephen Hawking? The guy in the wheelchair.
Yes,
It's
yes, that's him.
Stephen Hawking, right?
Mhm.
So like he had the computer to talk for him. So
Mhm.
so it showed more of that.
Mhm.
Um
But I think it also showed that there's different types of autism too.
that too, yeah. That too, yeah. Like there's more there's like the verbal, there's I mean, I'm not well versed in it. I just full
Right.
disclosure, but
Right.
um like I know there's more of like a verbal autism, and then there's more of
Mhm.
like a tactile one. Uh, and I know there's different. Well, I don't want to say that I know very much, but I'll just say don't quote me on what I just said. But I would just say, but I think the fact that it did show neurodiversity in the sense of using it to solve a problem,
Mhm.
and the fact that they show like we have to finish a task.
Mhm.
This like hyper focus, we have to finish. Um, so I did like that it showed that more, but it showed it more in the other characters, not so
It
much
did.
with
Mhm.
Christian. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Um so I'll go ahead and get into our fun segment.
Ooh.
So we've been doing, so I just started this the last two episodes. We do a thing called Popcorn Roulette. So I
Mm.
guess it's kind of, you can, I'll say you can attempt to give quick answers, but the last few times I've done it, I haven't really gotten quick answers. So just answer how you see fit, I guess I should say.
Okay, I'll try my
Um
best.
so first question is, what is your favorite Ben Affleck performance
Of all time,
of all time?
like I can't. I want to. I wouldn't say Batman. Um,
Yeah, I
I
can agree with
guess
that.
I would
Yeah.
say the accountant.
You'd
I
say
have
the
to think about
accountant?
that one. Yeah. What else was he in that I really
He
like?
was
Oh,
in
like Goodwill Hunting.
uh-huh.
Um, I guess I would say the accountant for
The
sure.
accountant.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what is your go-to action thriller snack?
Not popcorn. It gets in my teeth.
Yeah.
It gets in my gums.
Mhm.
Um, hot dogs for sure.
Hot dogs? That's
Yeah.
actually interesting. I've never heard hot dogs.
Hmm.
That's interesting. Would you rather be a genius accountant or a hitman?
Hmm. I gotta think about that one. A genius accountant or a hitman? See, I gotta think about that one because it's like, well, you gotta being a genius does a genius leads to a lonely life.
It does. It
Um,
can.
yeah. Um, I mean, I love math, so I could see myself, being an accountant and doing people's business and like tax returns and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how, but then again, and the fact that he turned to a criminal enterprise, right?
Right.
Because that also just kind of going back, um, that I mean, he ended up in prison, but just like his skills were used for criminal enterprise, right? And what does
Mm-hmm.
that say about people with autism and how we can use their skills? And it goes into a whole deeper thing. But coming back to
It
this,
does.
um, I'd rather, oh God, I don't know. Like I see, okay, genius hitman, genius accountant. I could see, but I could see how they both can lead to criminality. um, so I could see how it could be like like being an accountant for the mob or something.
But you
Uh,
also could see that he used accounting to do good as well because he helped
right,
that couple in the first movie. Even though it did
yeah,
ended up getting them into the whole mess anyway. But that's just
right,
because of the hole that he was in.
right. And then being a hitman, like I could see, like I see that more as like gigs, like
Mm-hmm.
sort of like you have to wait for a job to come in. Um, you have to make sure that the job is fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I could see like you're in hotels, you're traveling around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I can see that being finicky in that you may be hired to kill someone that's doing good for the community, right?
Right.
But it's bad for the person hiring you, right? And so
Right.
that could be a dangerous area. Um, so I guess I would go with the genius accountant.
Genius accountant. All
Yeah.
right. So if the accountant became a trilogy, where do you think the story should go next?
Hmm.
This one's a bit loaded for a short answer, but
Yeah, it's loaded. Well, now it's like, okay, so where would they take it? Okay, so they found the boy and he went back the the school. I'm like, what else can they do? Um, I mean, I would want like the two brothers to team up
right.
somehow, but there still has to be that conflict.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would say, um, but there has to be like another like plot. I guess I would say because it has to connect to the boy, right? Because the boy was the
Right.
whole reason
The
for the
whole
second
reason.
movie.
Yeah.
So maybe someone is like trying to kill the boy, right?
Maybe. Yeah.
And um, or it could be like a act. Well, because all like the bad guys from Juarez, I mean, they all died,
Right.
but
Or maybe somebody attacks the school.
that too, yeah, that would be a good one,
Mm-hmm.
right? Someone it's because the first movie, Christian, they killed his friend, and so like the like some crime group, they killed his friend, and so he sought revenge by killing all of them, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
that can come back into the third movie where someone attacks the school, they or bomb the school or kill the
Right.
kids, right?
Right.
And then I could see him snapping
Mm-hmm.
and finding the people that did it, and then he gets his brother to help. And
Mm-hmm.
oh, you know what? You got me thinking. Lady assistant gets kidnapped.
Oh, that would be good
Yeah.
too.
And she can't speak without the computer, right?
Right.
So you remove the computer, she can't talk,
She can't do anything.
right? And it's like,
And with the way she ticks, it doesn't look like she would be able to write either. Have the ability to write.
right. Yeah. And so it's like, but then how would he know that she's gone? No, but she stops calling, right?
Right.
So sort of like he calls her, but she doesn't pick up, right?
Right.
Or she doesn't. It's been a while. He hasn't heard from her. He's like, well, what's going on? And then he goes to the
Mhm.
school and find out she's kidnapped, and then yeah,
Mhm.
that's like his right hand woman. Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
something
Something
happens to
happens to
her.
her. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, cuz you have who was it in the first movie that got him to. Well, it was his mentor. I guess you
Yeah.
could say his mentor got killed, so that's what started that whole story.
Right.
And so then the next movie, the J.K. Simmons ends up being the person that got killed in in the second movie, and so she would be the next one to somehow get hurt or something happened to her. So yeah,
But in the second movie, Christian wasn't really triggered. It was
yeah,
just
that's
more
true.
of the FBI agent asks for help, and he's like, okay, I'll help.
That's true.
So
Which he didn't know who Ray was because he never did see Ray's face whenever he had the gun pointed to his head.
right. But then he knew, but like the assistant knew, right? Because
Right.
she made the calls, and I think
Mhm.
there had to be some kind of connection
I think
between
it's
him
more of a
and Ray.
connection with her than it is with him
Yeah.
because she's like the middle person between business and then Christian.
Yeah. So I would say, kind of think either somebody attacks the school or something happens to the lady assistant.
Yeah, I can agree. So here's the last one. What is your most underrated action movie in general?
That I like, or just like a really bad one, or just something I thought was really good but didn't get
Yeah,
the props it
yeah,
deserved.
yeah.
Uh, there's this movie called, I think it's called Rain.
Rain.
Um,
Okay.
well, the car, no, I don't remember the name of it, but it's like the lead character. I think it's this singer called Rain, I think. And he's in love. Like he went to the same school with this girl. I think Ninja Assassin. I think the movie was called.
Okay. That sounds
Um,
interesting.
yeah, but like he goes to the same school with this girl that he falls in love with. But they're pretty much like ninjas, and they're raised to be assassins.
Hmm.
And there's like a boy section and a girl section. And the
Mhm.
girl's name is Kimiko, I think, and he's in love with this girl. And then there's this guy. Something happens and he leaves the school. Um, that like everyone else kind of became assassins. No, I think the girl died, and that made him leave
Mm.
the school. And but everyone else grew up to be assassins, and he's like trying to kill the assassins. So he's fighting against like his fellow like school brethren. So I that movie I
Okay.
liked.
All
Under
right. So to kind of wrap things up, so what would you give this movie out of 5 popcorns? Have to be on theme.
Accountant 2. You have to see Accountant 1 in order to get Accountant 2. That's the
Right.
thing.
Or you could
Um
rate them both. You could rate them both if
yeah,
you wanted
yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I would give it 4 popcorns.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, 4. I wish they went into more into the boy's story.
Right.
Um, but they just kind of hinted at it, and I wish
It
they
kind
gave.
of felt more like a subplot than it did
Right.
the actual plot. Because it's like they took like two subplots and just put them together and say, oh, here's the plot.
Right. So I wish they went more into the boy's story. Um,
Right.
which again could be movie number 3, which is, but well, not really, because Christian would have to be a part of it. So never mind. Um, but yeah, I would give it 4. I wish they went the little things. I wish they went into more, but
Yeah, I can agree. So I just want to thank you for joining me today. Is there any socials or anything you would like to plug at this time?
Yeah, yeah. All right. So my tutoring company, if you are in the New York City or Nassau County area, I do in-person tutoring services. So if you want more information, go to my website, www.astepaheadtutoringservices.com. If you are not in those areas, I also do virtual sessions as well across the United States. So I'm open to everybody. Um, so again, a step ahead tutoringservices.com. You could also follow my company on Facebook, Instagram, X, what else? YouTube, Eventbrite, and LinkedIn. So you could follow and TikTok. So you could follow a step ahead tutoring services all there. You could also follow me personally. My name is Gabrielle Crichlow. You could follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram.
All right. I appreciate it and thank you so much for joining us.
Oh wait, let me just shout out my podcast real quick.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's called Hot Topics Podcast. It's through a Step Ahead Tutoring Services, but so it's an interview style show where I talk a lot about things happening in mental health, education, physical health. I bring people on to talk about those things. So I encourage you guys to check out my podcast. It's called Hot Topics. So you could find it wherever you get your podcasts. But there's a lot of other hot topics, so it's not a distinct name. So you would just type in a step ahead tutoring services, and it'll pop up that hot topics. You'll see a big pencil with a gray and black tip. So look for that logo. But I encourage you guys to check out my podcast, Hot Topics, wherever you get your podcasts.
Alrighty, I appreciate it very, very much, and hopefully we can do this again sometime, maybe.
Yes, I am so down. Let's
All
talk
right.
about John Wick next time.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen any of those actually, so that would be interesting.
Yeah.
That would be very interesting. Alrighty, I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
That's all for today's episode of Popcorn Unscripted.
Thanks so much for tuning in.
If you enjoyed the conversation, be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Pop Unscripted, then Popcorn Cinema on Facebook.
And let us know your thoughts or any suggestions for future episodes. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out any future episodes. We upload every Wednesday and Saturday.
If you'd like to send us a message or subscribe for bonus content, check out the links in the description.
Your support means a lot and helps keep the conversation going.
If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to leave us a review. It helps us out a ton, and we love hearing your thoughts.
Until next time, keep your popcorn close.
And your movie critiques closer.
Thanks for listening to Popcorn Unscripted.